Good evening, grotty painting fans, and welcome to another Sanguinius Paints live stream. Today I'm going to be working on the incursors again. We're in the new studio. It is almost finished, although the sound is a bit rough, so if people can let me know if I sound awful, although there's not a lot I can do about it because echoey as balls in here. So yeah, I'm just going to crack straight on with it. See, I've got Shamak in the chat. Hello, mate. But yeah, so I'm just going to crack straight on. Got the creakiest chair in the world as well, which sure doesn't help. So I'm going to start off by doing some of the leather. So last time we were watching, I blacked everything else out. You can see I've started to put some squad markings on these guys. Now I'm going to start working through the leather, and then we're going to do the metallics today. So I'm going to start with this black and brown from Reaper. Oh good, no echo. This is one of the better Reaper paints. It's quite liquidy, but it's got decent coverage. I quite like it as kind of a baseline before you start to do the browns. It's a lot like Rhinox Hide, although a little bit darker. Might have to go back in a second and tidy that up. I think I want to leave the handle and the hilt black. These little leg straps are a real ball ache. Next dude. Let me know if I go back out of focus. I can see it's gone out of focus a second there. Try zooming in a little bit. About as much as I can. Hello. Hey, syntax error. Welcome to the stream. I'm just chilling out, painting some incursors. And testing out the kind of new setup that I've got going on in here. I'm a bit late starting tonight because I was having a curry and I didn't get back in time to start the normal 9 o'clock start time. But it was a good curry, so I don't feel that sorry about it. I finally picked up the Fiston like I was talking about in stream like a month ago. When I was building him last week, I managed to lose his backpack. I have no idea where it went. That's annoying. I'm trying to remember. It's not too dissimilar from the standard Primaris one, so you might get away with an intercessor backpack. Hey Foz, how's it going? Feels like I've turned the entire room upside down searching for it. You know, as soon as you stick a different backpack on there, it's going to turn up, yeah? Let me know if this sort of setup's working. I think there's probably not quite enough light. Let's see if that works a bit better. This is the first time I've used it. Doesn't help that I'm painting dark brown onto black at the moment, which is hardly the most contrasting of colours. Well, yeah, the setup looks good to me. Oh, brilliant. I've got my Escape from New York poster in the background as well, which is quite cool, I thought. Love that film. The only issue is your head goes off screen. Am I ducking down too much when I'm painting? I'm asking because I can't look at myself and at the same time as I'm painting. So I might just have the angle on the face cam wrong, which isn't a big deal. I can move that. Try and move it down a bit. I'm not the world's best streamer because I get too wrapped up in what I'm doing. Because for years I've just sat and painted for hours in silence with the music going. I sometimes forget to speak. When John does his, he manages to chat for the entire time without break, and I'm very envious of that skill. Just get one of those GoPros on a stick strapped to a helmet they use for face cams in Wipeout and such. You joke about that, but there's a video on the channel where I'm unboxing a big pile of old crap. And in that one, I've got a GoPro strapped to my head as I rummage through a load of old boxes. And I had a similar problem in that over the video, the camera would drift upwards. That might just be because I'm shit with a GoPro. But yeah, I couldn't keep the bastard thing looking at what I was looking at. They're also fuckers for close-up focus. They just can't do it. Because I originally bought mine to do this with. And it just can't focus on anything that close. They're fine for going down a hill on a mountain bike or skydiving, but they're crap for making miniature painting videos. As it turns out, who would have thought the action cam is best at action? Get a bigger stick. I've never needed a bigger stick, Cesario. Hey Stephen, how's it going? It's nice to see you in here, mate. Normally you struggle to make it, but I suppose I started a bit late today because I was busy eating curry. And I'm not, I say sorry, I'm not sorry. I do it again, and God damn you all. I love curry. And when the option is there, I'm going to take it. Even if it does mean I'm a little bit late. I actually went to the same curry house as Oreo that you went to and acquired your green bean nickname. There you go. I think the going for a curry is a distinctly British thing to do. Syntax error. I recently managed to get my hands on a Blood Angels Tactical Squad by the... Oh, nice. Already lucky to find it for a good price. You were very lucky to find it for a good price. I haven't got one. Good. Thanks for the advice on the matte varnish. Oh, anytime, mate. Let us know how you're getting on. If I thought about it, I'd have had it ready for this evening and I could have shown you it, but I haven't. It's over there somewhere. I'm still not completely unpacked from the move. Living out of boxes. I get my upstairs flooring Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, which will mean I can finally stop living out of suitcases and unpack the rest of my boxes. I'm very excited about this concept of having floors in my house. Oh yeah, I've missed a bit. Oh god, the curries. Oh Jesus, the green beans, yeah. Thought you'd appreciate that, mate. I'm not sure if my models really need it, but I think matte looks certain. Yeah, I love it. I mean, obviously these aren't matte, these are gloss because I've got to pin wash them yet, but my whole army, all of my personal armies are with a matte finish. Because I just prefer it. I just like the way it looks more. I know for like tabletop miniatures, other finishes are much more durable, but I just prefer the look of ultra matte. When I'm painting models for other people, I paint them all with, unless they specify, I normally give them a satin finish because that's kind of what GW do for them. Unless it's a display piece, then that gets matte. But a lot of people really want that kind of Warhammer heavy metal look that, to be honest, I try and avoid because I don't think it looks very realistic. We just finished painting its leg strap and I'm going to catch up on the chat because it looks like it's jumped forward. Right. Like who puts green chilies and curry that look exactly like haricot? Why would there be a haricot bean in a curry? That's insane. And it's your fault for being a dumb foreign guy. Curry's a common thing in the UK. Absolutely, yeah. Really have to look for a restaurant to find curry. There used to be a really good Jamaican jerk place that did a great goat curry near school back in the day. Yeah, curries are absolutely everywhere. Every town has got at least one, probably 2 or 3 curry restaurants. Where I went today, there's one curry restaurant that I was in, then there was another one opposite it, then there are 2 more, and this is a tiny little town that we were in. It's everywhere. Syntax. I also matte varnish everything. Yeah, I prefer it. I like the way it blends everything together and just makes it look more natural. Maybe that's the wrong thing for tabletop miniatures because they don't pop as much, but that's what I like to do. Honestly, I love the second edition paint styles. That's why I go so bright. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've seen a lot of my stuff. All of my dreadnoughts are bright colours. Red, yellow, hazard stripes on everything. I'm trying a slightly more muted look for these guys. Just because I fancied it, to be honest. I wanted to see how it'd look. So I've gone with a really a more crimson for the armour rather than the bright red I normally use. And then I've missed a leg strap here, which is going to annoy the hell out of me. I just think because these are kind of a forward assault unit, so I'm going to try and do them with a like this more crimson colour scheme. But I'm also going to put quite a lot of gold on them, and that'll look quite cool because my infiltrators have gone full stealthy, and the intercessors are bright colours. Well, these guys I want to go quite ornate. I refer to the dumb foreign guy part. You said it, not me, mate. My other army is Behemoth Tyranids. It's taken all my power not to paint the bases green. Oh, it'd be lovely the base is green. Fours, I still love the heavy metal highlight style. Yeah, it's a great style. It's classic. It's instantly recognisable. And if you want to go for a golden demon, you need to paint in that style. I can, but it's very... I prefer just... It looks quite cartoony, I think. And I prefer a more natural highlighting style. But I think I've got a few ultras I need to do for a commission, and I think I'm going to go full second edition style on those. Bright blue, gold trim, edge highlights, the works. Just because I don't want to get too pigeonholed into a style, and I have to admit that I have got a bit of a style. I think it does you good every now and again to try and do something a little bit different to you normally would. Hence messing about with different colour schemes, you know. I'm trying this sort of darker, more crimson look on these guys, not because I need to, but because I haven't before. It might turn out that I hate it when it's done, because it does lose a lot of contrast doing it this way. But I won't know till I try it. And at the end of the day, it's only paint. If I really hate it, I can always redo it. I'll get some other ones. These aren't my first incursors, and I doubt they'll be my last. My incursors and eliminators are white and grey, and we mostly play on grey ruins. Can't tell you the amount of time I forgot to shoot with them because I simply can't see them when they blend in. Yeah, that is a worry, I suppose. Many years ago, this is back during 3rd edition, I played with a Catachan Jungle Fighters army, and I thought it'd be really cool to do them all like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. You know when he covers himself in mud so the Predator can't see him? I did my whole army like that. Every single guy was like mud and camouflage really heavily. I put loads of like plants on the bases because I bought a load of plants from the pet shop for fish tanks and used them all to build jungles everywhere. And then I had a super jungle table, and the problem was that they were so well camouflaged I used to lose my own army in the terrain, which is hardly what you're going for. I mean, the opponent never shot at them, but I didn't shoot with them, so I'm not sure I can count that as a win. Taking a hobby and just doing it differently is scary, but is a good thing. That's why I started shooting with analog cameras sometimes. I'd like to, actually. I keep looking at analog cameras. I'm only just properly getting into photography. And I bought this camera to film with rather than shoot pictures, and it was kind of a happy accident that I realised how much I like taking pictures with it. So much so that it's actually spent more time now taking pictures than it has filming, which is the complete opposite reason I bought it. But I'm not going to object, it's bloody expensive and I'm glad I'm getting some use out of it. Cool story, yeah. It was a little bit long-winded. But that's because I'm jabbering, because I never know what to say on these streams. You wouldn't believe it, but in my day-to-day life, I try and speak as little as possible. some reason this model's got a holster that just does not like staying on the model. It's fallen off about 3 times. Don't know why. Contact point's the same as all the other ones. Yeah, I get what you mean, Stephen. Tony, did you finish the Thunderhawk? I did. I did post some pictures. I'll see if I can post a picture up very quickly. If I can find it. Blood Angels, Thunderhawk. Let's see if this works and doesn't immediately crash the stream. Whoa. So when it starts to get in the page, because it's way bigger than the stream is, this is the Thunderhawk. I ended up putting way too much, there it is. So that is the Thunderhawk. So I ended up putting way too much time into that. I might come back to it and do a bit more detailing on it, but I'm pretty happy with how it ended up. Let's see if I can get rid of that then. That's the question. Yes. Cheers to that, and Stephen. I was quite pleased with it. I had a lot of fun building it and painting it. I've got something else big and stupid up there from Forge World that comes in one of those Titan boxes, so I'm excited to do that. It's not a Titan. I couldn't afford one. But it is another mega big model. I'm going to do a bit of a review of it and a build, so I can talk about that. How did you do the yellow? Yellow on that one is these 3 paints, actually. So it's base coated with yellow ochre, then I use warm yellow, and then I use a cold yellow to highlight it. So this kind of ochre colour's got really good coverage. The warm yellow adds a bit of depth to it and a bit of interest. The cold yellow is just for highlights and stuff like that. And then what I tend to use is a bit of contrast paint. I want to say the older dark yellow contrast paint they made. I can't remember what it's called now. And I use that for doing just like a bit of lines and a bit of shading on it. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, it's the standard sort of layering technique. If it's not broke, don't fix it, really. Those with some of those. So I'm using a slightly brighter brown now. This is Dubai Brown from Scale 75. And I really like this one because it's got super matte finish. Not that it's going to affect it because I'm going to matte the whole model down at the end anyway. But I still like the colour. And I'm just being fairly liberal with it. And just painting it over this yellow. Over this brown. I'm not doing a dry brush technique, but I'm sort of not being that neat with it either. I want to leave a bit of the old one showing through. It's kind of halfway between a layer and a dry brush. And that's just to get a little bit of texture in the model and a little bit more interest. No, not Nasdrag, the other one. Nasdrag's a bit brighter. I've got it here somewhere, I could just look at it. But I haven't emptied all my stuff out. I need to get some new paint racks. Ironed and yellow. But I haven't bought any paint racks yet for this space. There will be some on this wall here and maybe going along back. I use contrast yellow for yellow these days. Base with Iandon, Iron Jaws, Glade with Imperial Fist, Nasdaq Recess Shades, Aerial and Flash Kits Layers, yeah? I really like Aerial Yellow. It's a really nice colour. It's one of the few GW sort of standard layer paints that I've actually transferred to a dropper bottle and used quite regularly. It was for a long time my kind of go-to yellow for doing yellow helmets. It's got a nice tone and decent coverage. Oh dear, I'm sniffing away. I think I might have a cold. Iandon's brighter than Nasdaq, is it? Oh, I don't remember, probably. I always forget the names because I tend to just sort of take the pot out. I want about that colour, if you know what I mean. And because I use so many different random brands of paint on everything, which is actually a bit of a pain in the arse sometimes when I'm trying to recreate things. I try and remember to write them down, but I'm not always the most disciplined when it comes to doing that. And actually I say that, but since I moved, I have absolutely no idea where my paint journal is. It's gotten lost somewhere in the move. It does help though when I do the paint journal, because if it's something I particularly like or want to look back on, it's handy having it written down somewhere. Torn Horus Heresy, do you have a 30k army or just sticking with the 40k stuff? The answer to that is yes and no. I've got the 30k Age of Darkness box set and I own a lot of Blood Angels, but I haven't got a specific 30k army. I'm just trying to build the Blood Angels so that I can use them in 40k and 30k. And also by that same token, I also have a... Oh dear, I said also a lot of times. I've also got a lot of Custodes. I has got a lot of Custodes, can be used in both. Also. Naz is more brown, fair enough. So I like it for recess shading. Yeah, nice. I think contrast are particularly good for doing that with. I'm a big fan of contrast paints. I think they're really useful. They're not very useful for what they're supposed to be used for. That kind of one coat, job done sort of thing. But as a kind of really kind of thick, powerful shade or thin, highly saturated paint, like an ink that sticks better, they're very useful. I think I own most of the GW contrast paints, and then I've got a few of the scale colour instant paints. I don't have any of the Army Painters quick paints because, well, actually not, that's not true. I did have some, but I gave them away because, if I'm honest, I hated them. The reactivation issue was super annoying for people like me that like to work their paints. I thought they were shit, to be honest. Who wants a paint that you can't paint over? I don't have 30k, but I think the game models look awesome. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Contrast half and half with Lamy and medium takes away some shine in the recess shading process too. That's a good idea. If I'm doing things that aren't gaming, so I'm not going to varnish them, then that sort of thing's important. It doesn't matter quite so much with these models because I'm going to varnish them all. That's why I'm not too worried about mixing, and not in a sensible way, matte and satin finishes. Obviously no gloss paints because they're disgusting. Oh, these are a bit weird with their lack of purity seals. I've only just noticed. I was like, there's something wrong with this model. It's because it's got no purity seals. Kids are freaking out, they're hungry, gotta go and make dinner. Have fun, Fuzz. Have a good night. Oh, I bought null oil gloss, used it once, never touched it again myself. Yeah, I gave mine away. I have to admit that a lot of the paints that I've just not liked have found their way into the boxes we use at school for the kids to play with. Because if I'm honest, a lot of the kids don't really know what good paint is, if that makes sense. So the things that really irritate me, they're not bothered by. I had a kid today tell me that they were finished painting something, and I was like, but my initial response in the back of my head was, but it's shit. And that's not fair. That's not fair at all. They were working hard. It's just, it looked unfinished, I think was the problem to me. But we've got different standards of what we would consider done. I like gloss shade for true metallic shading. Yeah, it doesn't kill the shine, which can be handy. Yeah, I wish I had contrast when I got started. The guys who sold it to me love it for that reason too. Yeah, I don't... It might blow people's minds, but I very rarely use any shades. I prefer, even when I'm doing metallics, to paint my shading on. I just like the fact that I've got more control over it. So I can, and I have done, especially when I'm matching somebody else's models for a commission or something, but if it's my own stuff or I've got complete freedom, I tend not to. But that's, again, that's a stylistic thing. I sometimes wish I could get access to the tools and machines we had in high school. Yeah, me too. I miss having I actually miss the stuff when I was an engineer as well. I miss having a machine shop that I could make useful things. I definitely need some more light in this setup. I can see it on the screen that it's quite dull for you guys. It's not the brightest in the world for me either. I keep putting off buying a good painting lamp because I'm photosensitive, which means that a lot of the time I can't take light anyway, and I have to live in the darkness, which is amusing for everybody involved. Or I have seizures and things. But Redgrass have been teasing their new painting lamp for bloody ages. And when I'm doing these sorts of things and I have to have more light, I feel like it'd be a lot more helpful. A big diffuser box, yeah. Maybe a cock and great big one straight above me. So I've just got to be a bit careful about going too bright with it. I don't think they'd be that impressed at work if I told them I wasn't coming in today because I've had a seizure, which occurred because the lights I was using to paint my Warhammer were too bright. I think they might sack me for that. For not having my priorities straight. Depending on what's in front of you, if it's a flat white wall, you could bounce some light off that too. Just so you don't block the overhead light with your head. Yeah, that's the problem, the overhead light is there. And then I've got this lamp as well, which you can't really see, it's off screen. Changing the subject completely, I have to say the more I'm using these Artis Opus Series S brushes, especially this size 2, the more I'm liking it. I'm quite picky about brushes, but this one I seem to particularly like. It's got a nice feel to it. Hey Short Round, how's it going? Right, need to go brighter. What have I got? Gobi Brown. This is a nice brighter one, and it's got a little bit of a green tinge to it, which I think could be quite nice. Does look a little bit like, if I put some on there, baby shit. It's like baby shit green. Oh, come on, focus, please. Thank you. Thought I was in school then. Come on, pay attention. Look at the model, don't just focus off into nothing. Tony, I read Dante and now I'm almost done Devastation of Baal. Great reads. Yes, they absolutely are. If I'm honest though, I was a little disappointed, sorry, minor spoiler, for Darkness in the Blood. I don't think it was as good. It's a good book, but I think because Dante and Devastation are so good, it meant that it just couldn't get away with being a good book. It needed to be an amazing book, and it just isn't. It's just solid. Any recommendations for book 3 learning about blood angels? Yeah, the bar is set really high for those two. Yeah. And that's the problem, it's just not as good. And the other one that's not as good is I've just finished reading the Mephiston trilogy. And they're just not as good. To be honest, Mephiston just comes across as an arsehole for the whole thing. And it's very much like everything's going to ruin, it's all going to go wrong. Oh, don't worry, Mephiston now manifests some new power that means he's even more powerful than whatever the bad guys were doing, and therefore it's not really a problem. And there's no jeopardy in the whole book. There's never a moment of, oh, this could be tricky, how are they going to get out of this? Because the answer to how they get out of this is Mephiston has some sort of new power that means that they get out of this. And after the first couple of books of this, I really struggled through the third one because it's exactly the same as the previous two. How do they get out of every situation? Mephiston gets some sort of new, broken, please nerf, ridiculous powers. And that's just boring. It's like a lot of the older kind of bolter porn books that are just brother, sergeant, giant penis, megacock shoots the next terrorist cultist with his bolter and it explodes. After killing 3,700 he reloads and then he killed somebody else. And then he says, "Aren't I a massive Chad?" It's just really juvenile. And I know we're playing toy soldiers and it's not exactly the most mature hobby in the world, but after some of the amazing books like Dante, like Devastation, like some of the best of the Horus Heresy, I just expect a little bit more. I'm all for good battle scenes, I just want there to be some good character development as well. No, we're leaving Alighieri alone at the moment. It's a bit heavy for a Tuesday night. What's your third favourite BA read? Maybe Fear to Tread? Blood Quest, that's probably up there. I mean, the fact that it's a graphic novel does help that. It's probably not amazingly written, but at least it's got good artwork. I think a lot of authors have difficulty humanising Space Marines to feel relatable. Yeah, they do. And they either go too far one way or the other. Have you read Gaunt's Ghosts? I have. Although, if I'm honest, I started to get a bit fed up with them later in the series. When all the original ghosts basically are dead, and it's just gone in some horrible location. Basically, everything after Traitor General I thought wasn't as good. I don't like what they did with Venner, because Venner was a great character and I felt that they did him a bit of a dirty with that book. They built him up so well with Traitor General and they just like, we shouldn't leave him there. Sorry if I'm spoiling 20-year-old books. Because, I mean, I love Black Library. I read so much. The only ones I would say I've consistently enjoyed every entry are the Caiaphas Cain novels. Yeah, Fear to Tread's a great one. Horus Heresy, but that doesn't mean anything. That's the same recommendation Mark had in the FAQ. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I feel like I should be angry for the spoilers, but I'm not even sure who Gaunt is, so... he was Colonel Commissar of the Tanith First and Only. A series of books by Dan Abnett that started off really well, but then got a bit too far up its own arse. A bit like a lot of fantasy and sci-fi books do. I felt Robert Jordan did that a lot with his stuff. They started out really good, but some of the later ones were just a slog. Is it okay to just pluck Fierce Tread out of the series? Yeah, it is. If you wanted to get into Horus Heresy, then there are a few that I would recommend. I'd certainly recommend the first 3 because they kind of set the scene. But if you just want to read it for the BA-ness, then Fear to Tread's pretty standalone because Sanguinius and the Blood Angels don't really have a lot to do with any books earlier than that. They have the odd cameo here and there, but it's the first time they're kind of the protagonists. Probably ending a long-running series is probably harder than writing just another entry. A little bit of soap operas that just keep going. Yeah, and a few fantasy series do that. I don't know if you're familiar with Terry Goodkind and his Sword of Truth series. That's another one that should have ended but kept on going. And then later on just started to become nonsense. It's a bit like a good paint job. Sometimes it's as important to know when to stop as what to do while you're there. The problem with a lot of 40k books is too many characters' points of view. The story should be from 3 points of view. Many storylines are complex and not clearly visible. Yeah, I agree. A good example of the multiple points of view recently was I read the Watchers of the Throne series, which is the Valerian and Leia series, and that's very well done, and that concentrates on kind of 3 very clear points of view and does an excellent job of it. And it's nice seeing the kind of the return of Gilliman from another point of view. I don't know what the fuck this song is. Guy Haley's awesome. Dude can make a dinner menu seem interesting. Yeah, he's very good. I fully admit to watching way too much Grey's Anatomy. That's another show that probably should have ended sooner than it's actually going to be. Yeah. If I haven't started it yet, but do want to read some Horus Heresy, I'd recommend Mechanicum and Flight of the Icensign. Yes, they are both excellent. And another one that I particularly enjoyed was 1,000 Suns. And, oh shit. There's another one which is an Ultramarines book. And they're chasing a big battleship from the Word Bearers to Calth. Something of the Abyss. Oh, it's really going to piss me off, that. But it's a really good book because it shows a lot of the legions that went traitor, but loyalists from them, and that was really fun. It did my boy Alex super dirty. Still mad. Right, okay, what was I doing next? So that's the browns on there. I really need to start doing a bit of metallics, don't I? So let's put the nice brushes away and do some metallic work. Right, a couple of crappy brushes. Cold side of the wet palette. Battle for the Abyss, that's it. It's very good, that one. Right, so we're going to start doing some... Want to do some golds? Yeah, let's do some golds. So this is Necro Gold from Scale 75. I don't know if this is going to look good. I just thought it'd be fun to put a bit more gold than usual on these guys because I've got some quite ornate helmets on them. So we'll see how it turns out. I could end up repainting some of this gold, but we'll see what happens. Like I said earlier, it's always fun to experiment. And with this one, we're experimenting with a bit more gold. This may sound weird, but when I read the books, I think my characters do better on the table as well, lol. I also think better paint jobs do better than the table. Yeah, they do, but not in the first game you play them. If you spend enough time on a model that you're really proud of it, the first time you field it in a game, it will definitely die. That's just the rule, the unwritten rule of the universe. Like if you spend more than an invisible threshold of time on a model, it will immediately die the first time you use it. Cesario in the chat can attest to that because I was commissioned to paint some knights for a big game that he took part in using said knights, and they all immediately died. Admittedly, that was because he self-destructed at least 2 of them. Yeah, glorious explosions. Newly painted curse, yeah, absolutely. They worked very well. Yeah, you killed more things in that game by blowing up your knights than you did by killing things with your knights. I'm really glad they got rid of all the auto-explode strats out of 40k. They were just annoying. Especially that old Orc one that meant with the burner bomb, and you could do more damage by just crashing it turn 1 than you could ever actually hope to do using it properly. Hey man, can't take the Orc tactics out of the barely knows anything about 40k player. Absolutely. I had a newly painted Blade Guard veterans wiped out starting with exploding transport. Sounds about right. Whenever you've got new stuff painted, you've got to write off the next game as a ridiculous defeat. Everybody knows it. Thing is with painted models though, is I can't stand playing with unpainted models. I would rather not field the unit than field it unpainted. I think I experienced a newly painted bonus, not a curse. Maybe you're, though, the special person that proves the rule. You know, like the exception that proves the rule. That's you, Steve. What's the pile of glory looking like at the moment, Tony? At the moment, it is bigger than I am. And that is not an exaggeration. The pile of glory is so large that it doesn't fit in a normal room. In fact, takes up 2 or 3 rooms. And if piled up into a big heap, reaches the ceiling. Which I'm not sure if I should be proud of that or very, very disappointed. What's terrifying is this is not hyperbole, this is the truth. It literally reaches the ceiling. I reckon in boxes I've probably got every army for 40k. A lot of old fantasy ones and a few Sigmar ones. Plus numerous other games, you know, like bolt action and stuff like that. I would say I've got a problem, but as I don't view it that way, it's not a problem. Now, in the better part of 30 years that I've been playing 40k, I reckon I've played every army. Except Genestealer Cults. I do have a Genestealer Cult army, but I've never built or played with it. I'm not even sure why I have it. Some armies I've had multiple times. I've gotten fed up with them, sold them, and then bought them again at a later date. Thousand Suns is in that boat. Actually, to be honest, so is Blood Angels. I sold my original Blood Angels many years ago. I went through a phase of playing... I can't remember what I sold them for, actually. Eldar, I think. I think it was a combination of Eldar and needing the money because I was poor. And my Blood Angels at the time were my biggest and best army. Wow, I thought I had a problem. It's only a problem if you consider it a problem. I consider it an investment. I'm investing in the British economy by buying products made by Games Workshop. You know? do some heads. These, if anybody's wondering, are actually the Mark IV Blood Angels heads from Forge World, which I'm using instead of the official incursor Geordie LaForge visors, because I think they look stupid. And I think Mark IV helmets look cool. That said, I might actually be considering part of the Japanese economy. Judging by the amount of Tamiya and Hasega boxes I've sitting in my pile, that's because you are just like me, really. You buy these things with every intention of doing them, knowing full well that you never will. I've even got the Leagues of Otan box coming, which I'm hopefully going to make some content on, and then probably, if we're honest, never touch again, because they seem quite powerful and I don't really have any particular love of the idea of an army that can only move 5 inches. I can't see them being that much fun to play. I'm not too worried about them being broken, because they're only broken if you play them that way. But yeah, it's just their slow movement speed, I think, would really frustrate me. I even find when I'm playing with my custodes that the fact that they're not very quick irritates me, and I miss my jump packs. It also includes 3,000 points of tyrannies. That's a decent one. Oh, hang on, we've got a bit more than that. The amount they charge GW is the British economy at this point. It is, certainly. My pile of shame includes aggressors, outriders, 10 intercessors, blade guard veterans, and impulsor. Best it has ever looked. Looking good. It also includes 3,000 points of tyrannies. It's a lot of nids. But I need that Tyrell P34 kit that I'll totally build. A P34 is cool though. I take it you mean the tank. I never super got into scale modelling. I've got sitting on my shelf a chieftain tank that I built but never got around to painting. And I've often thought it might be cool to go back in there and paint it. Just painting my head spikes gold. Did a very good job of staying on the mat. I'm trialling this white piece of paper today because I've got the camera on autofocus, and when it's got the cutting mat underneath it, it keeps trying to focus on it. So I'm just seeing if I leave this piece of paper on here, if it will stay focused on the models, rather than desperately trying to show everybody the grid of the cutting mat. Hold on for time. Getting there. Am I the only one painting tonight, or are other people painting stuff as well? Stephen needs to make a dent in that 3,000 points of Tyranids he's got kicking around. If he makes a start on that soon, then he should have them finished just in time for them to be nerfed to the ground. Or 10th edition roll round, one or the other, or both. Right, let's brighten up the gold. For this, we're going to use Elven Gold. Which doesn't want to come out of the pot. Come on, oh, there it is. I was just waiting for it to squirt absolutely everywhere. I'm just finishing off some eliminators, nearly there, nice. I'm quite fond of the Eliminators kit. I think it looks nice. A bit of overspill on there. My current flat isn't super conductive to me painting, unfortunately. Well, you know the answer to that. Thought you lived in some giant swanky flat as well. This Necro and Elven Gold combination I really like because it's really reflective. I think it shows up quite nicely. I was living with my parents around the time we had that big game, so maybe you're remembering that. Maybe. Tony, why is matte finish less durable? It's less durable not because... So, the reason that a matte finish is so matte is that it uses a material to make things less reflective, basically. So it's kind of got a grit in it. Now, when it stabilizes and dries on the model, it means that the surface is no longer completely smooth. Now, this means that light doesn't reflect off in any kind of particular pattern. That's why it doesn't shine like gloss does. And that's what gives it its matte effect. Now, because of the fact that the surface is no longer completely smooth, it means that any friction between it and anything else will actually rub the paint off, because it's got something to get a purchase on. Whereas a gloss varnish is absolutely smooth. That means that if you were to rub it with your fingers, there wouldn't be anything to rub off because it's completely smooth. It's got very low friction coefficient. So if you, for impact and stuff like that, matte varnish is exactly the same as gloss. But for handling, as you keep picking them up and rubbing them between your fingers, a matte varnish is not as tough as a gloss, which is the most, and a satin, which is somewhere in the middle. I hope that helps. If I'm honest, I've been playing for a long old while and all of my armies are matte. It's not that big a deal as long as you're careful with it. You know, make sure you're picking them up from the rims and so on and so forth. But if you do have a habit of really being quite handly with your miniatures, then it's not the best, most durable finish. Guess that tracks. It does track. Stephen, interesting. Definitely something to think about. Yeah, it's something worth bearing in mind. I wouldn't let it worry you too much. Like I said, unless you're one of these people that really like to rub their models between their fingers, you'll probably be all right. And like I've said before, it's only paint. Most people don't tend to handle my finished projects, I suppose. Never really thought about it much on the subject. Yeah, absolutely. If you're doing display stuff, then there's no reason to use anything other than matte. But if you're doing a more gaming product that you're going to constantly be picking up, then it is something you need to bear in mind. That's especially true if other people are going to be handling it inexpertly. So if I'm making models for other people to use, like maybe for the gaming clubs and things like that, then I'll be quite heavy-handed. I'll probably give it 2 or 3 coats of a satin varnish. I'm not going to give it a gloss varnish because I have some limits. Because I know the people, because it's not their models, aren't going to handle it very carefully. Right, gold. I mean, I use my army once a week. Things are holding up because I'm pretty careful. It's safe to assume a matte varnish is more durable than zero varnish. Oh, absolutely. That's not entirely true. It's more durable than zero varnish if you've got, like I use, which are matte paints, or if you use a lot of airbrushing and things like that, because your paint layers tend to be thinner and easier to rub off. If you're someone who uses a lot of satin paints, like GW ones, they're pretty durable anyway, even without varnish. Right, so let's do some silvers. So I'm going to use, because I haven't tried it out yet, I've got this metal colour magnesium from Vallejo. This stuff, like the other ones I've tried, is super flowy, which is both a good and a bad thing. It's good in that it's quite smooth. It's bad in that it's quite difficult to control. It's probably designed for the airbrush, to be honest, feeling it. But that's okay, that's why we try out new paints. Ooh, I'll tell you what though, it does not like being on the wet palette. It almost immediately splits. Which is interesting. I'm happy with that, I think. Let's put this in a dry palette. Oh, it's a bit good. Alright, I got to bounce. Long day at work tomorrow. Have fun, Cesario. Yeah, cheers for tuning in. And I'll see you another time. Paint does seem to split even in the dry palette. I might have unjustly accused my wet palette of being the cause there. Paint is so thin that it gets moved around the model with capillary action, which you do not normally see in a paint. Tony, I'm 6 wins and 1 loss in tournament prep. The Discord and all these videos have been amazing. 3 wins, 1 loss versus other league members in my 7 prep games. That's wicked, Stephen. I'm really pleased to hear that you're doing well. And I'm really pleased to hear that the videos are being useful as well. That's why we're making them. I quite enjoyed John and Mark's Votan video the other night. And I like the fact that they didn't focus on how to make the most busted thing possible. And instead looked at the army as a whole, and I think that's something that a lot of places aren't doing. You know, I read the Goonhammer article that everyone's been talking about, and yeah, I understand what they're trying to say with it, but I also think they're missing some of the point. You know, they are incredibly powerful, but they have a 5-inch move, and unless they've got great secondaries, they're not scoring for shit. And I think that people focus on XYZ broken combo without looking at the whole army. Yeah, everyone was looking at demons and saying that they were going to be the most broken thing ever and whatnot, but actually what we ended up with was an army that has some very powerful characters, like Be'lakor, and that is amazing, and a few powerful mechanics, but because their core troops are not very strong, they're not really setting the meta alight. And I think that because Votan are so slow and so short-ranged and relatively squishy, they're going to be this kind of army where if you let them shoot at you, you die. But if you use terrain well and you kill them first, or you just outscore them, they're not going to do much. Now that army is calling to me, lol. I want to paint them neon greens, blues and reds and yellows. That sounds pretty wicked. I think they're quite cool models. I'm still not that chuffed that Games Workshop seem to have forgotten how to sculpt a female face. Because I don't think we've had a good female face certainly for 40k since Darren Latham's special edition sister. And that's upsetting because, well, it's just nice to have models with nice faces. And the female faces for the Leagues of Votan look appalling. Oh, I'm getting off screen here. Yeah, at this point they should hand out sprues with hundreds of female faces for all the Marine factions for free at local Games Workshop stores. In all honesty, looking at the current ones, you wouldn't be able to tell if they were female or not. They're going uglier than the guys. It's not saying that I need everybody to be an absolute picture of feminine perfection, but not looking like a baboon's arsehole would be a good start. And maybe you can argue that the Leagues of Votan aren't human, they're abhuman. But come on, still, that only goes so far. Maybe I'm fixating on the wrong things, but I just like good looking miniatures. I don't care about any of the politics. I don't care what army they're for. I just want cool stuff to paint. And whilst I love the aesthetic of the Votann, I love their vehicles, I love their infantry, that's just one area I think lets them down. Now, I was very disappointed with the Modern Sisters of Battle as well. I prefer my metal ones. I think the Battle Sister models aren't too bad, but the character models are particularly egregious examples. What time have I got? Oh, I've got quarter of an hour yet. Getting there all right. I'll check that I didn't miss a bit on that one. I did. Oh dear. I have to say, because this paint is so liquid, it goes on really quickly, and it's got really good coverage as well. It's just, because it's so thin, a little uncontrollable. It's very easy to get in places you didn't want to get it. Ugh. Tony, what's your second biggest army? Probably my custodes, to be honest. I've got about 5,000, maybe 6,000 points of Blood Angels. And then I've probably got about 2,000 or 3,000 points. No, maybe probably about three and a bit thousand points actually of custodes. Although I've only got a couple of thousand points of them painted for those guys. I'd more or less, during 8th edition, stopped playing 40k. I didn't make the transition from 7th very well. I quite liked 7th, although it had its problems. And I wasn't the biggest fan of 8th. But someone I was chatting to really wanted me to keep going and stuff, and he got me playing custodes. So in 8th I played a lot of custodes, and it really got me back into the hobby. They're just a lot of fun to paint. Now I've got a couple more of their vehicles and that kicking around, and they're so quick and easy to make them look really good. And whilst I do enjoy painting Blood Angels, they're a lot more time consuming for me. Even though I do generally sort of speed paint everything. Yeah, nobody's going to accuse me of parade ready painting all this stuff. Yeah, I do talk about them quite a lot because I like them. I think they're cool. I'd love to get a hold of a couple of the old naked Custodian models, the original ones. And then after that is probably my Sisters of Battle. I might have more Sisters of Battle than Custodians, but they're all in sort of boxes and that, and long lost. So my Sisters of Battle aren't in a great place. I think I've played 1 or 2 games within 9th edition. Not a lot at all. And a lot of them are all over the place. I think I own about probably still 2,000 or 3,000 points in total. The bulk of which are metal ones from 2nd edition. Yeah, I agree. Marines take time. Yeah, they definitely do. Have you got any Warhammer Fantasy stuff? Yeah, I've got a Dark Elf army. I've got a decent chunk of a High Elf army now. I've got an Orcs and Goblins army. I've got a Bretonnian army and a Lizardman army for Warhammer Fantasy. I never got into Empire or Chaos. I think I've got a Chaos Warrior army as well, but God knows where that is. God knows where a lot of them are. I'm loving painting Nids as my second faction. Also love reading about them in the Devastation of Baal book, lol. Yeah, they're a lot of fun, Nids. They make great antagonists because they are absolutely, unarguably the bad guys. Which is nice because you've got no ambiguity there at all. No hidden motives with the Nids. Yeah, they come to destroy, absolutely. We come to nom your biomass. I think I'm using this Dura-Aluminium as my highlight colour, but I don't think there's enough of a contrast between them. I think I'm going to have to do another highlight pass. I intend to make some mountains and terrain just for my display case to show some BA fighting Leviathan Nids. Sounds awesome. I've ordered a couple of display cases for my new place at the moment, but I don't know when they're going to arrive. Because a lot of my stuff lives in boxes and things, and that's just a bit boring. I'd like to have it properly on display. And I've got the space, so might as well. Well, I've done that one, haven't I? Last one. Right, okay guys, so it is nearly 11:30 now. I'll blow this up for a second so you can see me properly. It's nearly 11:30 now, and it's about time for me to go to bed. So if you've got any more questions or anything like that, then stick them in the chat now. I'll try and answer them before I go. I'll stick a picture of where we've got with these incursors in the BA Commander chat on the 3 Grots channel as well. Good night, Miguel. Okay then, so I'll take that as a no. So good night everybody, hope you enjoyed the stream. As always, drop us a like, subscribe if you haven't, but I think everybody has probably who's watching this. And I will see you on the next one. Next week we're going to change the time slightly, we're going to move to Mondays. The reason for that actually is entirely internal, and it's because I have a busy timetable on a Wednesday, so rocking up at work knackered isn't great. So have a lovely evening, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers, guys.